at the Central Conference itself, the majority are men. And so the fact that they have elected a woman, it does say something about what is happening in Africa. But that does not mean that that equality is 100%. There is still a lot to be done. But things have gotten much better in relation to accepting women into ministry and into leadership. So that is one side. But on the other side also, it is a huge responsibility on my side. Because as one pastor was saying in one meeting, was saying, you know, all our eyes are on you. So, and I feel that. I do feel that. I do feel that pressure. That practically every step is followed by almost everyone. So there is that responsibility partly on my election as the first woman bishop. But I thank God there are, as I said, I'm not alone. There are many people that we are working together in my Episcopal area and even in other places in Africa. So that is encouraging to me.
What is very dear in my heart that when I was told my name was forwarded to the General Commission on the Status and Role of Women is I know that Filipinos who had been, I mean, our history would tell us that we were under the Spaniards for around 400 years, and that must have set up us belonging to very patriarchal society. You have the señorito, señor, our fathers and brothers, and so women always were the second-class citizens. There was a double standard practice in our society, and the church is not spared from that. It's also practiced. So with that burning issue in me pushes me, and that I like so much to get involved in this commission. The full participation of women, it's something that I've been wishing for, or the equal participation of men, at least of women, at least they should be at par with men. It's something that I dream of so high and so big, and I really want it to see it happen in our church, and of course, even in the society, if ever.
I hesitate to speak on behalf of women in the Philippines, women in Africa, women in Europe, but I am delighted to learn some of their stories and to begin visioning with them what the church can do and be in those areas. I think in the Philippines, for example, dealing with issues of sexual harassment and clergy sexual misconduct, and allowing women, lay women and clergy women to be empowered to assert their own authority in these areas is crucial. And talking to Bishop Nanala, issues of education and access to education for women in Mozambique are very crucial. And in Europe, trying to bridge the divide between a very secular society, which does have a lot of rights for women, and the church, which perhaps is following behind in secular society's footsteps.
Some challenges that confront women in my country and maybe in other Asian countries, if I may say, is the struggle. The struggle is still continuous. Even if there is this more progressive-minded thing we're doing, where we are trying to empower women. There's a women's movement that is really behind all of these things. We still find the patriarchal society so dominant. It is there. It is still blocking us. That it takes much courage for women to really go and penetrate that barrier that is blocking the empowerment of full and equal participation of women in the church?
I think just encouraging the women to stand by themselves, to know that they are full members like any other member. That is very important in one side. But the other side, the fact that we will bring this awareness on, for example, sexual ethics, that's very, very important, because that is a serious issue not only among the laity but even among the ordained ministry. So I'm really looking forward to see women issues at least being addressed. They may not be solved in 1 or 2 years, but at least they will be addressed, and that is important. But for those issues to be addressed, the women must have courage to address them first, because it affects them.
My hope for CASRA is that we expand exponentially so that we have gender justice ministries, not just in the United States, not just dealing with the concerns of North American English-speaking women, but that we are able to continue expanding around the world and with groups that are traditionally underrepresented. We have started CASRO's in Mozambique South Annual Conference, South Africa Annual Conference, the Philippines Annual Conference. We have networks of clergy women in the United States who are of non-Anglo, non-Caucasian origin. And I think that these types of networks and support groups will just continue to expand. So I hope that not everybody looks like me in future.